Welcome to the second session of Evolutionize Your Life. This is Connie Barlow.
And Michael Dowd. And today's session is on our physical instincts, our reptilian brain's hunger for safety, sustenance, and sex. And our intent here is to really learn about our evolved Quadroon brain, that is our four-parted brain, with a focus this session on appreciating and managing the oldest ancestral part, that is our reptilian brain.
And by having this understanding, this evolutionary understanding of our reptilian brain, we're going to be better prepared to face head-on the challenges of having mismatched physical instincts in our world that's full of supernormal stimuli. Now, those two terms, mismatched instincts and supernormal stimuli, will really be the focus of this session.
There's no better way to start this conversation than with a quote from Ed Wilson, E.O. Wilson from Harvard, when he says, "We exist in a bizarre combination of Stone Age emotions, medieval beliefs, and godlike technology."
And of course, what he meant by that is it's a recipe for disaster unless we get a handle on this.
Yes, indeed.
Now, we can't, of course, change our instincts, but we can change how we relate to them, how we manage them, and in particular, the context that we set up around us in which we live.
Yeah, and I want to say a little bit about why it's so important to understand our instincts. The problem has been that we haven't had an understanding, a science-based, that is a knowledge-based understanding of our instincts until very, very recently. And so what has traditionally been called in the West our sinful nature, or in the East overcoming our ego, or all different traditions speak about the challenges of trying to live with integrity in a modern world, or even in a pre-modern world, and why that's the case. And only recently do we have an understanding that allows us to have gratitude for the millions of years of programming that have gone into making us exactly the way we are. And that's the missing piece that almost no other therapy approach or recovery approach or spiritual tradition has. But as they integrate it, it can supercharge all different approaches.
What the Quadroon Brain is, which just very briefly has the components, the oldest component when our ancestors were still reptiles. This is the reptilian brain, that's the physical instincts. Next to evolve was the old mammalian brain, the paleo-mammalian brain. That's the emotional, nurturing, bonding instincts. Up after that, in our primate ancestors, that is the monkeys and the apes, came the rational, figuring out neocortex, which is our interpretive instincts. The part of the neocortex that's exactly right behind our forehead, you know, the kind of things that you see in alien movies, that the aliens would get smarter, it's this part of their forehead that comes lumping out. That's called the prefrontal cortex, and that's the fourth part of our evolved brain. That's really the advanced part, and it's really the only place where we can find impulse control.
And part of what the prefrontal cortex is about is good judgment or poor judgment. Some of the problems that we see in our youth stem from exactly that.
So in winding down this session, Michael and I would like to recite for you here the 7 outcomes that we have posted on the Session 2 module. These are the things that we ourselves have benefited from this perspective.
And what we've seen transform other people's lives as well.
Absolutely. So the first one, assent. I accept that I and others have deep ancestral instincts that are mismatched with the demands and temptations of the modern world.
Appreciation. I am grateful for my physical instincts. I wouldn't be alive today if my ancestors did not have these very same drives for sex, safety, and sustenance.
Honor. I choose to regulate my exposure to supernormal stimuli in ways that honor my physical instincts and, where necessary, to put in place systems of support.
Witness. I notice when an ancestral urge is tempting me to slip in my commitments and responsibilities to myself and others. I do not make the urge wrong, yet I know I am responsible for my actions.
Compassion within safe boundaries. I have compassion for myself and others while maintaining safe boundaries.
Joy. My choice to manage my physical urges and the supernormal stimuli in my environment will not diminish the joy I experience in the sensory blessings of life.
Societal benefit. I'm keenly aware of the societal costs of mismatched instincts in our modern world of supernormal stimuli, and I will act in accordance with this understanding.